The day is finally here. Hellblade 2 has officially been released after 4 years in development, and what an experience it was. I got home day of release, nipples harder than diamonds, and I binged my way through the entire game. I found things I loved and things I didn't, and developed some opinions about the series moving forward. I'm issuing the spoiler warning from this point on. I might drop a sneaky little timestamp for the spoiler free stuff. If you haven't played the game, skip to that point, unless one of your kinks is getting things spoiled. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'd also love to hear and discuss what you all thought of the game, so please comment below. We're going to do a really brief story recap and then jump straight into the meat of the experience. We left Senua in Hellblade 1 at an open ending. She had come to terms with the fact that she wasn't going to be able to bring Dillion back, and she was walking away from the battle room when the screen faded black. The player had learnt that a foreign tribe of naughty boys had ram-ranched their way through Senua's village, enslaving and pillaging everything in sight. Hellblade 2 opens up with an unknown time skip to Senua being held prisoner on a boat in the middle of a raging storm. We get some exposition explaining that Senua has allowed herself to be captured by the same people who massacred her village, and she's now on a vengeance quest to learn why and ultimately kill some naughty boys. The boat succumbs to the power of the ocean and Senua scrambles to survive, finding land. She then finds her way through the chaos on the beach, slicing down slavers as she goes, until she runs into the slave master, a young son of a Jarl whose mission is to get as many slaves as possible. Senua wins and battles with the voices in her head as to whether or not to kill the slave master, ultimately choosing not to. She carts him across the new land where he gives his top 10 things to do in the country. You quickly notice that something's not right, passing through an abandoned village. The slave master lets you in on a little secret. Undead Draugr have been terrorizing the land ever since some badass giants have recently taken up residence. From here the story is pretty straightforward. Senua takes it upon herself to help the people of the land and kill the terrorizing giants. Senua meets a few more characters along her journey who accompany her through the game. Senua is told she has to find these supernatural beings called Hidden Folk who know the secret to killing the giants. Once passing the Hidden Folk test, Senua also learns this secret. She ends up killing a few giants and leading her companions throughout the land, ultimately ending up in the Slave Master's village where her final encounter starts. I've seen a lot of reviews floating around saying that Hellblade 2 is half movie and half video game, and I think that's actually a pretty good description. Ninja Theory are doing something I don't think a lot of other studios are, and that's creating a truly captivating linear story that the player experiences and you actually feel like you are Senua. The graphics and effects are stunning. I can't stress that enough. I streamed the game on low settings because that's all my PC can take, but I tested a few scenes after the fact, off stream, on high settings. Oh my god. Ninja Theory are milking every sap of the sweet, sweet nectar that Unreal Engine 5 can ooze out, and it shows. There were times on stream where I was waiting for a cutscene to end and I accidentally tapped W and realized, oh my god, this is the game.
Find the next side. We can't stay here. I'm too cold.
Oh,
Let's climb.
that's the game.
About
I thought I was still in a cutscene.
are a warrior.
The transitions from cutscene to gameplay are seamless. What takes it up to another whole level? The audio. I felt like I was actually there and that the voices in Senua's head were in mine as well. I was constantly hearing footsteps behind me, which made me physically turn Senua because I was sure there was something sneaking up on us. This game is truly immersive to a whole new level that few, if any, other game out today matches. I'm sure it sounds like I'm doing a whole lot of dick riding here, but I just love how this game turned out. I also enjoyed how Ninja Theory added side characters to the game that don't feel forced at all. The first game was very much a solo journey for Senua, with no other interactive characters besides enemies. It's refreshing and good to see how Senua interacts with people that she's not trying to immediately kill, and the relationships she builds with these new characters. The giants were an amazing concept as well, with the locals believing that they are some otherworldly enemy, but in reality they are just people who have been corrupted by how they were treated by others and the circumstances that were manipulated by their inner darkness. Each giant is completely different from the last and offers new ways to beat them. The puzzles, although similar to the first game, had a nice refreshing spin on them in this one, which I felt was a good improvement as well. Now that's all the good things. There are a few things I didn't like personally, but these will be kind of specific to me, so take it with a grain of salt. They might be a little nitpicky, but that's just what I believe. I praised the half movie, half video review concept earlier as to what the game feels the most like, and I think that's a pretty good description. However, For what I was expecting the game to be heading into it, I felt I was watching a tech demo or a movie more so than playing an actual game. There's a lot of cutscenes in the game, and there's certain points of the game that feel like you were just walking from cutscene to cutscene. Maybe this is a product of how I played the game, binging through it like a complete madman. Looking back, the game is broken into 6 main chapters, which I would recommend get played through like a TV show. Do one chapter, stop for a bit, and come back. I praise the experience of this game because, don't get me wrong, it was fucking amazing, but there are a lot of cutscenes. Combat is something that is also unique in this series. It's not a lot to learn, but difficult and challenging to master. The first game threw upwards of 3 enemies at you, and you had to manage the arena and the location of all enemies around you with the help of the voices in your head to overcome the challenges. There are more enemy variants in the first game, however you never fight more than one person at a time. They've opted for a more cinematic experience. But this one person is significantly more challenging than in the first game. To sum it up, slightly more challenging, less managing. I guess they're trying to go for the cinematic feel to the combat, but to me it just feels like a small step back. Although I'll give them some credit where, when you defeat an enemy, there's a little cutscene that plays in between the new one appearing that feels fluid and gives the feel of Senua not being alone in these battles. Ninja Theory have truly raised the bar to a whole new level. I would consider this the first real example of how far Unreal Engine 5 can be pushed and how fucking gorgeous games can look moving forward. I would have personally liked a bit more of a lean towards gameplay in this game, but that's getting really nitpicky and only really a pet peeve. I said in my review of Hellblade 1 that I couldn't justify the price point of the game if it wasn't on Game Pass. I'm happy to say that this is a completely different story with this game. I would happily pay full price to play this game and experience what it brought to the table for the first time again. I'm gonna start giving all games I play a rating on here. There are a few changes I didn't like, but overall they improved on the first game and blew it out of the water technically. I think I'm gonna give Hellblade 2, as an overall experience, a 9 out of 10. If the game's combat was tweaked a bit and there was more gameplay instead of cutscenes, 100% this game would have been a straight banging 10. Well, that's all I've got. If this sounds like something that tickled your butthole, then what are you waiting for? Hit that download button and have a good one.